The stars trembled when she walked through space. This was not a story or a poem. This was a fact that every species in 17 galaxies knew as truth. The Void Huntress had no mercy. She had no home. She had no equal. Commander Zethral stood on the bridge of his warship and watched the darkness ahead. He was old for his kind, nearly 400 years, and he had spent the last 3 centuries of his life doing one thing only: hunting her. The creature that had turned his home planet into dust before he was born. The monster that ate stars for breakfast and destroyed civilizations for fun. Today, the hunt would end. All ships report ready, his second officer said. The officer was young and tried to hide his fear. He failed. Everyone was afraid. 4 armadas had gathered in the Obsidian Nebula. 12,000 warships from species that normally hated each other. Today, they stood together because they shared one common enemy. Begin, Zethral said. The trap was simple, but it had taken 50 years to build. A reality anchor, a device that could lock down a small piece of space and stop anyone from escaping into other dimensions. The Void Huntress was fast. She could step between realities like a normal person walked through doors. But today, all those doors would be locked. She appeared like a nightmare made real. Her body was tall and thin, covered in fur as black as the space around her. Her eyes burned with purple fire. Her claws could cut through the hull of a ship just by wanting to. She looked like a cat that had been stretched into something almost human, and then filled with the darkness between stars. Little insects, she said. Her voice reached every ship without radio or signal. It simply appeared in their minds. You dare to face me again? How many times must I kill you before you learn? Today is different, Zethral replied through the communication system. Today you face the united might of the galaxy. Today we have prepared. She laughed. The sound made 3 crew members on the nearest ship fall unconscious. Then the reality anchor activated. The Void Huntress screamed. It was not a sound of pain, but of surprise. For the first time in perhaps 10,000 years, she could not run. She could not step sideways into another dimension. She was trapped in normal space like everyone else. The ships opened fire. Weapons that could crack planets hit her from every direction. Energy beams that burned hotter than stars crossed through her position. Missiles carrying enough explosive power to destroy moons flew toward her in waves. She fought back. 200,000 soldiers died in the first hour. Ships exploded like fireworks. Entire battle groups vanished when she simply looked at them. But she was weakening. The reality anchor kept her locked in place, and slowly, very slowly, the weapons were having effect. By the end of the battle, only 1,000 ships remained. Commander Zethral had tears running down his face. So many dead, so many ships destroyed. But they had won. The Void Huntress floated in space, unable to move. Chains made from the hearts of collapsed stars wrapped around her body. Special devices pumped signals into her mind to block her connection to the cosmic void that gave her power. Put her in the prison, Zethral ordered. The one that exists between moments. Make sure she can never escape. They built her cell from time itself. She existed in a place between 1 second and the next. No one could reach her. No one could free her. She would stay there until the universe itself died. But something went wrong. The devices that blocked her power were too effective. They could not just cut her connection to the void. They cut her connection to herself. Her memories began to fade. Her knowledge of who she was and what she had done slowly disappeared like morning fog under sunlight. The guards noticed after 1 month. She had stopped threatening them. She had stopped trying to escape. Instead, she sat quietly and asked questions. "What is that blue light?" she asked once, pointing at a distant star visible through her cell. "That is a star," the guard replied, confused. "It is beautiful," she said. "I think I would like to see it closer." The scientists were called. Tests were run. The results shocked everyone. Her mind had rebuilt itself. Without her memories of destruction and killing, without her knowledge of being the Void Huntress, her brain had filled the empty space with something new. It had pulled information from random signals floating through space. Human television signals, human radio broadcasts, human stories of normal life. She now believed she was a woman named Maya. She thought she had grown up somewhere with green grass and blue sky. She wanted simple things. A home, friends, maybe someone to love. "This is impossible," the lead scientist said. "She is the most dangerous being in the galaxy. She has killed trillions. And now she wants to watch cooking shows and learn to make something called pasta?" Commander Zethral looked at the screen showing her cell. The monster that had haunted his entire life was sitting cross-legged on the floor, humming a human song about sunshine. "What do we do?" his officer asked. Zethral thought for a long time. They could kill her now, while she was weak. It would be easy. It would be safe. But some part of him, some part he did not understand, said no. "We watch," he finally said. "We keep her contained, and we see what happens." 3 years later, she vanished from her cell. The alarms did not sound. The locks did not break. She simply stopped being there one moment and started being somewhere else the next. Not another dimension. Not another time. Just gone. 3 months after that, they found her. On a small blue planet called Earth. Living in a small apartment in a city called Milwaukee. Married to a human man who worked with computers. Going by the name Maya Chun, the most dangerous creature in 17 galaxies was making dinner for her husband and watching television with a cat on her lap. And she had no idea who she really was. Derek Chun was not a special man. He knew this. He had always known this. He was 34 years old. He had brown hair that was starting to thin at the top. He wore glasses because he spent too much time looking at computer screens. He worked in IT support for a company that did accounting. His job was to fix computers when they broke and tell people to restart their machines. When they called with problems, he lived in a small apartment in Milwaukee. He had an old couch that was very comfortable. He had a collection of old video games that he never had time to play. He had tried to keep plants 3 times. All 3 times, the plants died. He was ordinary. Completely and totally ordinary. Except for his wife. Maya came into his life 3 years ago. When Derek tried to remember exactly how they met, the details became foggy. Something about a friend introducing them. Something about rain in a coffee shop. He could not remember the friend's name. He could not remember which coffee shop. But he remembered seeing Maya for the first time and feeling like his whole life had been waiting for that moment. She was strange. Beautiful but strange. Her hair was black and very long. Her eyes were an unusual color, somewhere between purple and gold. She was tall and thin and moved with a grace that seemed almost inhuman. When she smiled, Derek sometimes saw teeth that looked sharper than normal. When she was very happy, she made a sound like purring. She did not understand many common phrases. When Derek once said it was raining cats and dogs, Maya had run to the window with genuine excitement. She had been disappointed to find only water falling from the sky. She ate meat almost exclusively. Rare meat. Sometimes, Derek caught her looking at raw steak like it was candy at night. When Derek woke up, he would often find her standing at the window. Just standing there, looking at the stars with an expression of confusion and sadness. Like she was trying to remember something important that kept slipping away. He loved her more than he had ever loved anything. On a Tuesday evening in October, Derek came home from work tired and hungry. The office had been busy. 3 computers had crashed. The coffee machine had broken. His boss had yelled at him for something that was not his fault. He opened the door to his apartment and stopped. There were 7 creatures standing in his living room. They were tall, almost 7 feet. They wore black armor that seemed to absorb light. Their faces were not human. They had too many eyes, and their skin was gray like ash. Maya was in the kitchen. She was crouched low, her hands curled like claws. She was hissing. Derek had never heard her make that sound before. "Derek," she said, without looking away from the creatures. "These things appeared in our home. They are saying strange things. I do not understand." One of the aliens stepped forward. He seemed to be the leader. His armor had gold marks on it. "The Void Huntress will come with us," the alien said. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. "This farce has continued long enough. You will be returned to your cell." "I do not know what you are talking about," Maya said. "My name is Maya Chung. I am a wife. I make dinner. I watch television. Leave my home." The alien laughed. It was an ugly sound. "The psychic blocks have damaged you more than we thought. But it does not matter. You are the Void Huntress. You have killed trillions. You destroyed my brother's ship with a thought. You will return with us." Derek's brain was trying to understand what was happening. Aliens were real. Aliens were in his living room. Aliens were saying his wife was some kind of space monster. Nothing made sense, but one thing was clear. These things wanted to take Maya. Derek walked forward and stood between his wife and the aliens. "No," he said. His voice shook. His hands trembled. His heart beat so fast he thought it might explode. But he stood his ground. The alien leader looked at him like he was looking at an insect. "Stand aside, primitive creature. You cannot comprehend what she is, what she has done." "I do not care what you think she is," Derek said. "Her name is Maya. She is my wife. We got married at the courthouse 2 years ago. She burns toast every morning. She cannot figure out how to use the television remote. She cries when we watch sad movies. I do not know who the Void Huntress is, but that is not my wife." "Derek," Maya said softly from behind him. "These creatures are dangerous. I can feel it. You should move." "No." "Derek." I said no. His voice grew stronger. "I am not a brave man. I am not strong. I cannot fight. But I will not let them take you. Whatever happens to me, I will not move." One of the aliens raised his weapon. It glowed with blue light that hurt to look at. "We do not have time for this. Move the human. Kill him if you must." The soldier moved toward Derek. Maya screamed something that was not in any human language. And then she moved. Derek did not see what happened next. It was too fast. One moment the alien soldier was reaching for him. The next moment, the soldier's arm was lying on the floor. Just the arm, separated from the body as cleanly as if it had been removed by a surgeon. Maya stood between Derek and the aliens. Her eyes flickered with purple light for just a moment. Then the light faded, and she looked confused. I did not mean to do that," she said. She looked at her hands like they belonged to someone else. "I do not understand. I am sorry. I am so sorry." She turned to the injured alien. "Are you okay? Here, let me get you a towel. We have clean towels." "Derek, where do we keep the clean towels?" Derek stared at his wife. The wife who had just removed an alien's arm without appearing to try. The wife who was now apologizing and offering towels like she had accidentally spilled coffee. The alien leader looked at his wounded soldier. He looked at Maya. He looked at his other soldiers. Some emotion crossed his strange face. It might have been fear. "We will return," he said. "The tribunal will be informed. This is not over." They vanished. One moment they were there, the next they were gone. Maya turned to Derek. Her eyes were full of tears. "Derek, what is happening to me? What did I just do?" Derek did the only thing he could think of. He walked to his wife and held her tight. "I do not know," he said, "but we will figure it out together. That is what married people do." The message spread through the galaxy like fire through dry grass. Within hours, every major civilization knew. Within days, every minor civilization knew. Within a week, even the hermit species who lived in the dark spaces between stars had heard the news. The Void Huntress had been found. She was on a small planet called Earth. She was married to a native creature. She did not remember who she was. Reactions came from every corner of the known universe. The collective of ascended minds was a group of ancient beings who had long ago left their physical bodies behind. They existed as pure thought, living in computer networks that spanned entire solar systems. They were very smart. Some said they were the smartest beings in existence. They held a meeting that lasted 3 milliseconds, which for them was a very long time. "We have calculated the probability that this is a trap," the lead mind announced. "The Void Huntress is pretending to have lost her memory. She wants us to lower our guard. Then she will strike. What is the probability?" Another mind asked. "We do not know." Silence followed. The collective had never been unable to calculate a probability before. They had predicted the movements of galaxies. They had forecast the evolution of species millions of years in advance. But this question had no answer their systems could find. "This is troubling," the lead mind said. "We recommend caution." Far away, in a region of space known as the Burning Fields, the Threshk Imperium held their own council. The Threshk were warriors. Their bodies were covered in hard shell and sharp points. They had 4 arms, each capable of crushing metal. They had been a great empire once, ruling over 100 worlds. Then the Void Huntress had come. 8,000 years ago, she had walked across their home planet. That was all. Just walked. But wherever her feet touched, reality broke. Mountains fell into holes that led nowhere. Cities vanished into dimensions that should not exist. Billions died screaming as their bodies were pulled into the void. The Threshk never forgot. They never forgave. "Send the assassination fleet," the Threshk War Master commanded. "Kill her. Kill her husband. Kill everyone on that planet if we must. She must die." "But War Master," one of his generals said, "if she truly has no memory, perhaps we could—" "No." The War Master's voice was like thunder. "I do not care if she has forgotten. My ancestors did not forget. The bones of my world did not forget. She destroyed us. Now we destroy her." 30 warships left Threshk space, heading for Earth. In the Temple of Endless Night, the Order of the Celestial Veil prepared for a different kind of action. They were not warriors. They were priests. For thousands of years, they had worshipped the Void Huntress as a goddess of death and change. "Our goddess has fallen into sleep," the high priest said. He was very old, his body thin and weak, but his eyes burned with faith. "She has forgotten her divine nature. We must wake her." "How?" a young priest asked. "We have the ancient rituals. We will travel to Earth. We will find her. We will perform the ceremony. She will remember who she is, and she will lead us into a new age of glorious destruction." The young priest looked uncertain. "But what if she does not want to remember? What if she is happy as she is?" The high priest laughed. "A goddess does not want things. A goddess simply is. She will thank us when she wakes. Now prepare the ships." And on the Valdarian command ship, Commander Zethro stared at reports that made no sense. Their prisoner was still in her cell. The monitoring systems showed her sitting in the same position she had been in for 3 years. The chains still held her. The psychic blocks still functioned. According to every instrument they had, the Void Huntress had never left. But somehow, there was also a woman on Earth who looked exactly like her, who had her DNA, who had, according to one report, removed a soldier's arm with a casual gesture that should have been impossible for any creature without cosmic power. How can she be in 2 places at once? His officer asked. She cannot, Zethral said. It is impossible. Then, what is on Earth? I do not know. The old commander rubbed his eyes. He was tired. He had been tired for 300 years. But I intend to find out. The Galactic Tribunal sent their message to Earth 3 days later. It appeared on every television screen, every computer, every phone. A tall being with blue skin and white eyes spoke in a voice that all humans could somehow understand. People of Earth, we come in peace but also in warning. A creature of great danger lives among you. She may appear harmless. She may seem kind. But she is the Void Huntress, destroyer of civilizations, killer of trillions. We demand that you surrender her to face justice. If you do not, we will be forced to take action. You have 30 days to comply. The world went mad. Governments held emergency meetings. Scientists tried to understand how the message had appeared everywhere at once. Religious leaders argued about what this meant for their beliefs. Regular people panicked or laughed or refused to believe any of it was real. And in Milwaukee, Derek and Maya Chun watched the announcement on their old television. That is me, Maya said quietly. They are talking about me. That is what they say, Derek replied. But they are wrong. They have to be wrong. What if they are right? Maya's voice shook. What if I'm a monster? What if I hurt people? What if I hurt you? Derek took her hand. It felt warm and human and normal. You could not hurt anyone, he said. I know you. You knew a woman named Maya who burns toast and cannot work the remote. Tears fell down her face. What if that woman is not real? What if she was just a dream that a monster had? Derek thought about this for a long moment. Outside, he could hear sirens. The world was changing. Everything was different now. Then I will love the dream, he said. I married Maya Chun. I do not care who she was before. I care who she is now. And right now, she is my wife, and I will not let anyone take her. Not aliens. Not governments. Not even herself. Maya looked at him with wonder in her strange eyes. You are a fool, she said. Yes, Derek agreed. But I am your fool, and I am not going anywhere. The aliens came to Derek's apartment with gifts. They brought a translator device so he could understand all their languages. They brought a weapon that shot lightning in case he needed to defend himself. And they brought an ultimatum. You have seen the announcement, the alien ambassador said. She was from a species with skin like silver and 3 eyes arranged in a triangle. The tribunal has given Earth 30 days, but we both know that is a formality. They will come for her regardless. The only question is what happens to your planet when they do. Derek sat at his kitchen table. Maya was in the bedroom, trying to sleep. She had not slept well since the announcement. Nightmares came to her now. Nightmares of fire and screaming and stars going dark. What do you want? Derek asked. Surrender her. Let us take her back to containment. If you do this willingly, the tribunal will spare your planet. Earth will be left alone. Your species can continue living your small lives. And if I refuse? The ambassador's 3 eyes blinked one at a time. Then Earth will be classified as a contamination zone. We will sterilize the surface. 8 billion humans will die. All because one man refused to give up his wife. Derek thought about this. 8 billion people. Every person on Earth. His mother in Florida. His college friends. The guy who sold him coffee every morning. Everyone. Can I have some time to think? He asked. You have 24 hours. The ambassador left. Derek sat alone in the dark for a long time. The next morning, he set up a camera in his garage. Hello, Internet, he said to the camera. My name is Derek Chun. I'm a regular guy from Milwaukee. I fix computers. I like old video games. 3 years ago, I married the love of my life. Her name is Maya. Apparently, aliens think she is some kind of space monster. They want me to give her to them. If I do not, they say they will destroy Earth. He paused, took a breath. I am not going to do that. I am not going to give up my wife. I do not care what they say she used to be. I know who she is now. I am going to fight for her, even if I have to fight alone. He posted the video online. Then he waited. The response was bigger than anything Derek could have imagined. Within an hour, the video had 1 million views. Within a day, it had 100 million. People shared it everywhere. News channels played it on repeat. The image of this ordinary man sitting in his garage, refusing to surrender his wife to aliens, touched something deep in the human heart. This man represents all of us, one news anchor said. When faced with impossible odds, he chose love. He chose loyalty. He chose to stand and fight. People started showing up at Derek's house. First it was just a few. Curious neighbors, reporters. Then more came. Then hundreds. Then thousands. They came from all over the country. They came from other countries. They brought tents and signs and food and weapons. We stand with. Derek, read one sign. Humanity does not. Surrender, read another. Maya Chun is American, read a third. The crowds built walls around Derek's property. They set up checkpoints. Veterans organized security patrols. Someone brought anti-aircraft guns. Though no one was sure if they would work against alien ships. Derek stood on his porch and looked at the sea of people filling his street. This is insane, he said. Maya stood beside him. She held his hand tightly. They came for me, she said with wonder. All these people. They do not even know me. That is what humans do, said a voice behind them. They turned to see a man in military uniform. His chest was covered with medals. We are strange creatures. We argue with each other constantly. We fight wars over nothing. But when something threatens one of us from outside, we come together. That is what makes us human. The general had been sent by the government. He had a message. The president wanted me to tell you that the United States officially recognizes your marriage, he said. Maya Chun is a legal resident. We do not surrender our people to anyone, not even aliens. What about the ultimatum? Derek asked. What about the threat to destroy Earth? The general smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of someone who had been waiting for a fight. Let them try, he said. We have been preparing for first contact for decades. We always hoped it would be peaceful, but we prepared for the alternative. If they want a war, they will get one. The Threshk assassination fleet arrived on day 15. 30 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel and positioned themselves above North America. Their weapons charged with enough power to turn the entire continent to glass. Surrender the Void Huntress, the War Master commanded. This is your only warning. Derek went live on every screen in the world again. No, he said. She stays with me. Then you will all die. Derek looked at the camera. Behind him, thousands of people cheered. Millions more watched from their homes. The whole world held its breath. Maybe, Derek said. But if you fire on Earth, you will find out something important about humans. We do not go quietly. We do not surrender, and we do not ever give up. You might kill us all, but you will pay a price that will make your grandchildren weep." The War Master stared at the transmission. He was a warrior who had fought 100 battles. He had faced enemies with weapons that could destroy stars. He had never felt fear, but something about this small human, standing in front of thousands of others, refusing to back down, made him uncertain. "They are insane," his general said. "They cannot possibly win. Why are they not afraid?" "I do not know," the War Master replied. "And that disturbs me more than any weapon." He thought of what would happen if they attacked. The humans would fight. They would die, yes, but they would fight. And the galaxy would see. The galaxy would see that the mighty Thresh had to destroy an entire planet just to kill one creature dot. It would make them look weak. It would make them look afraid. "Stand down," the War Master finally said. "We will wait for the tribunal's decision." On the ground, Derek let out a breath he did not know he had been holding. They had won. For now, Maya hugged him tightly and cried into his shoulder. "Why?" she asked. "Why did you do all this? You could have just let them take me. You would have been safe." Derek stroked her hair. It was soft and smelled like the shampoo she liked. "Because you are my wife," he said, "and no force in the universe will ever make me give you up." Maya stood in her kitchen and watched her husband argue with a glowing image of the Galactic Tribunal. The image floated in the middle of their living room. Derek was holding a piece of paper and waving it at the alien judges. "This is our marriage certificate," he said, "signed by Judge Williams of Milwaukee County. It says right here that Maya Chun and Derek Chun are legally married. Your laws mean nothing here. This is Earth. This is America. And this document is valid. Human legal documents have no standing in galactic court," one of the judges replied. She was tall with gray skin and no eyes at all. "I do not care about galactic court. You are in my house. You follow my rules." Maya smiled at her husband. Her wonderful, foolish, brave husband. He had been fighting for her for 60 days now. He had not slept properly in weeks. He had lost weight. Dark circles hung under his eyes. But he would not stop. Something stirred inside her. It started small. A feeling like trying to remember a dream after waking up. She looked at her hands. Normal hands. Human hands. But for a moment, she could almost see something else. Claws that could tear through reality. Power that could break stars. "No," she whispered to herself. I am Maya." But the memories came anyway. They came like a wave. Slow at first, then faster and faster until she could not stop them. She remembered darkness. She remembered being born in the void between galaxies, where no star had ever shone. She remembered being hungry. Always hungry. Feeding on the energy of living things. Destroying worlds just to feel full for a moment. She remembered being alone. So terribly alone. The only one of her kind. The last of a species that had eaten itself to extinction. Wandering the universe with no purpose except to survive. She remembered killing. So much killing. Not because she hated. Not because she was evil. Simply because that was what she was. A predator. A force of nature. Like a hurricane does not hate the houses it destroys. And she remembered choosing. Thousands of years of loneliness. Thousands of years of being feared and hunted. Thousands of years of seeing nothing in the eyes of other creatures except terror and hatred. Then one day, she had caught a signal. Radio waves from a tiny planet around an ordinary star. Images and sounds from creatures called humans. She had watched them out of curiosity at first. She saw families eating dinner together. She saw friends laughing at jokes. She saw lovers holding hands. She saw something she had never known: connection, belonging, love, and she had wanted it. She had wanted it so badly that it hurt. So she had done something impossible. She had made herself small. She had let the prison contain her. She had allowed the psychic blocks to erase everything she was. She had given up being a goddess to become something better. A person. Maya fell to her knees in the kitchen. Tears streamed down her face. She was crying for all the lives she had taken. She was crying for all the years she had spent alone. She was crying because she finally understood who she was and who she had chosen to become. Maya, Derek had noticed. He left the tribunal judges floating in the living room and rushed to her side. "What is wrong? Are you hurt?" She looked up at him. Her eyes flickered with purple light. The ancient power inside her stirred. "I remember," she said. Derek's face went pale. "Remember what?" "Everything." She stood up slowly. The ground trembled slightly. Outside, the crowds felt it. The aliens in orbit felt it. Somewhere far away, Commander Zethral felt it and knew that something had changed. "I am the Void Huntress," Maya said. Her voice was different now, deeper. It seemed to echo from somewhere beyond normal space. "I have destroyed civilizations. I have eaten stars. I have killed more beings than there are grains of sand on this planet." Derek took a step back. His face showed fear for the first time since this all began. "Maya, and I chose this." She reached out and took his hand. Her touch was gentle, human. "I watched your species from across the universe. I saw how you love each other. I saw how you fight for each other. I wanted that. I wanted to be part of something instead of being alone forever. You chose to forget? You chose to be human? I chose to be your wife." She smiled. It was Maya's smile. Warm and kind and a little bit silly. "I chose to burn toast and not understand television remotes. I chose to watch bad movies and eat ice cream when I am sad. I chose this life, and I will not let anyone take it from me." She walked outside. The crowds parted for her. They did not know what was happening, but they felt it. Something ancient and powerful was moving among them. The alien ships in orbit detected a massive energy spike. Alarms sounded on every vessel. The Thresh War Master shouted for his weapons to fire, but nothing happened. His ships no longer responded to commands. Maya looked up at the stars. "I am Maya Chun," she said. Her voice carried beyond sound, beyond radio, beyond all normal forms of communication. Every being in the solar system heard her. Every species that had come to take her or kill her or worship her. "I was the Void Huntress once. You were right to fear me. I destroyed without mercy because I knew nothing else. I was empty and hungry and alone." She raised her hand. The sky seemed to darken. Stars visible even in daylight. "But I am not that creature anymore. I found something worth more than all the power in the universe. I found a home. I found people who accepted me. I found a man who loved me enough to fight the entire galaxy." Her eyes blazed with light that had not been seen since the birth of the cosmos. "I make you this promise. Leave this world alone. Leave these people alone. Leave my husband alone. And I will remain Maya Chun. I will be human. I will live quietly and die peacefully and never harm anyone again." She lowered her hand. The light faded. She was just a woman again. A woman in jeans and a sweater, standing on a lawn in Milwaukee. "But if you threaten them, if you try to take this life from me, then you will learn why the universe feared me. Not because I was a monster, but because for the first time in my existence, I have something worth protecting." The silence stretched across space. Then the alien ships began to leave. One by one, they powered up their engines and fled. The Thresh fleet. the tribunal vessels, even the Order of the Celestial Veil. They ran like children running from a nightmare. Within an hour, Earth's orbit was empty. Maya walked back to her husband. He stood on the porch, coffee cup in hand, watching everything with wide eyes. "So," he said slowly, "you are an ancient cosmic being who could destroy the universe if she wanted to." "Yes." "And you gave that up to marry me and live in Milwaukee." "Yes." Derek thought about this for a moment. He took a sip of his coffee. "That is my wife," he said to the crowd still watching. "She is really something." Maya laughed. It was a real laugh. A human laugh. She walked to her husband and held him tight. "Thank you," she whispered, "for loving me, for fighting for me, for showing me what it means to belong." Derek kissed the top of her head. "I would do it again," he said. 1,000 times. 1,000,000 times. You are worth it. Above them, the stars twinkled peacefully. Somewhere in the galaxy, species that had spent centuries in fear began to understand something new. The Void Huntress was not gone. She was not contained. She was not a threat. She was just a woman now. A woman with a husband who loved her. And that made her more powerful than she had ever been before.